Cancer, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol. Cancer, this is going to be a general reading for December 2024. And I want to start off by welcoming any new subscribers that are coming to my channel or anybody that's coming here for a first time. And also thank you to those of you that are returning. This channel is officially 1 year old in December, so quite excited. It has flown by. And so I thought to celebrate our 1 year anniversary and also the fact that it's holiday season, I've decided to offer a significant discount on my personal readings for a short period of time, probably a week or 2 weeks. So I'll be offering 25% off my personal readings. So if you want to have a personal reading with me, the link is in the description box below and also in my comment section. And I'd be very happy to do a reading for you. So today we're going to be doing the Yellow Cardinal Tarot. And sorry, the Yellow Cardinal Cross with Tarot, of course. And it's a reading that is in the selection of about 6 readings that I can do for you for your personal reading. So we're going to start off by looking, I'm going to pick a deck actually. Which one did I have in mind? Oh, okay. I'm going to start off by the Tarot of the Abyss. And I'm going to select 6 cards from that, actually. Yep, there we go. There's one flipped. So, yeah, I'll take 6 cards from that, and then I'll also clarify it with another deck. So, let's begin. I'm going to start off with asking the Tarot for 1 card for you, Cancer, that's going to tell me about the issue you're dealing with, whether it's a decision you have to make, it's a pattern showing up. And then a 2nd card to clarify that immediately or tell me, you know, what's obscuring that, all right? So there's 2 cards there. So let's ask them first of all let's ask Tarot for the issue that Cancer's dealing with in December. 1 card, please. There we go, finally. King of Swords in reverse. All right, and I want a card to clarify that one or tell me what's obscuring it. The 4 of Swords in reverse. All right, and then let's look at over here on your right, the conscious influence, which means what are you consciously aware of that's influencing this issue right here? What do you know? You know, it's not hidden from you, it's what you know. Oh, that one definitely want to come out. The 5 of Wands here in reverse. That's what you know right there. Now over here on the left, on your left, this is the unconscious influence. So this is going to be what is coming up from your shadow that's needing healing, and it's going to have the most impact on this situation that you're sitting with right now. And so the shadow is what's hidden. It's the unconscious. And so we're going to be doing some shadow work here. And if you're unfamiliar with shadow work, I've left a video for you in my description box below. It's called My Powerful 4-Step Guide to Shadow Work. And it's taken from my other channel called Carol Cares. And it's a video about facing your own shadow that I've put together for you because I've been on my own healing journey, shadow work journey for about 7.5 years for my own complex trauma. So I put that video together for you. All right, so let's ask for 1 card now for the unconscious influence. What's coming up from Cancer's shadow that needs healing? You have 2 cards here. You had this one, which is the King of Wands. And then you had the 6 of Swords in reverse. So it's the 2nd king on the table, which is interesting. At top, what is needed for resolution? What is needed for resolution? The 9 of Swords. And at the bottom is guidance from the tarot. 1 card for that. Three of Cups. All right, let's pick a deck. I'm going to use the Tarot Vintage for clarifying all these cards here. So let's start off with the middle here. The King of Swords and the Four of Swords. We'll take another couple cards. These are all pre-shuffled before I came on. So a couple of clarifiers. There's one and there's two. So you got the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Two wand energies here. And then you got two swords in front of it. Okay, over here, the Five of Wands. Can I have two clarifiers for that? One that wanted to come out, and wow, three here. So you have the Eight of Swords in reverse, the Four of Swords in reverse, another Eight of Wands in reverse, and the Ace of Wands in reverse. There's a little bit of a story going on that you're consciously aware of. Okay. How about your unconscious? What's sitting in your shadow? So let's have some clarifiers for the King of Wands and the Six of Swords in reverse. A couple cards here. One more card. The Four of Cups in reverse and the Chariot card. That's in your shadow. And at the top, we're going to look at what's needed for resolution. So clarifiers for this Nine of Swords, one card, or two card, another card. The Ace of Swords in reverse and the Three of Swords. So it's another ace. Two aces. Yeah, two aces on the table. And finally, the Three of Cups. Couple cards. One more. Go one flip over. No. Okay, we need one more card. Knight of Cups in reverse. Queen of Cups. So that's one, two queens. All right, so I'm going to give this card over here for your overriding energy, Cancer, for this reading for December. In January of 2024, I did your yearly readings, and I pulled 12 cards for you to represent one for each month. And in December, you have the Nine of Cups. And so this will be the overriding energy. The Nine of Cups I call, this individual, if you look at him right here, he's close to the 10, right? He's one away from the 10 here, and he's lined up his Nine of Cups. And he's crossed his arms, and he's kind of said, you know, I'm done. I'm good. No more. Now, Cups talks about emotions and our desires and our wishes and our wants, and he's like, no more emotions, no more feeling for me. And I call this card my shadow bypasser or my spiritual bypasser. It's something that's just, you know, deciding that they're not going to feel anymore. They've shut down all their emotions. Or it could be somebody that has said, you know what, I've done all my healing. I'm done healing. When I hear that, I kind of chuckle, because we're always growing. We're always feeling. We don't be done healing. We're always growing. And, you know, some of us like to say, well, I don't want to touch my trauma anymore. I don't want to touch my past. I don't want to touch my emotions. And that's kind of like the person there that's just kind of went, nope, done, thanks. And yeah, so they've put their trophies up on a shelf, and there's what you call the spiritual bypasser or the shadow bypasser. So maybe that's you. Maybe that's you sitting here this month where it's kind of like, you know what, I just don't want to feel. I'm going to enjoy these holidays this month, put everything away, and, you know, who knows, I'll be referring back to it and see, I'll get some more clarification from the cards. So what's your issue right now that you're dealing with? Well, very interesting that you start off with the King of Swords. And the reason I say that is because you have two kings here, one in your shadow and one right here. And it's very interesting that I just talked about shutting down your emotions, because the king in my deck is the masculine side of us, and the queen is the feminine side. Now, you have queens that are coming up in your deck, so I'll probably repeat myself a bit, and I apologize, but sometimes I forget how many times I've said this, but we all have two parts to ourselves. We have a masculine side and a feminine side. Nothing to do with gender. It's just that the feminine side of us has been repressed and oppressed by society for, you know, years. And we don't realize that we have these beautiful gifts on our feminine side, because the masculine side of us, our ego self, will block that feminine side to us. And so you start off your reading with your ego self being out, and it's the King of Swords. And so the sword talks about our truth, our authenticity, and getting back to who we are. And oftentimes the ego self wants nothing to do with authenticity and finding out who you are and feeling your emotions. Wants nothing to do. That's a very scared part. And so right now, this tells me that you're very much in your head, because sword energy is all about our mental body, our being up, our mental thoughts, our thought patterns. And so I see here that you start off with somebody that's been very much up in your head. And that makes a lot of sense if you're bypassing your emotions here, because in order to get to our emotions are in our body. And the ego self does not want to touch emotions. They're petrified of emotions, and so it'll do everything to keep you up in your head. And so you're very much blocked right now. Your ego self is blocking your emotions. And the next card that clarifies it is your Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords talks about, normally, in an upright position, it talks about you needing some time to yourself, needing some rest. And you know, here's these swords, like, let's put some of these swords away. Remember I said, you know, the swords can be our mental energy. So we can tend to get on this spin cycle where we can't shut our mind off. And so we need to take rests. But it doesn't look like you're doing that. It's like, no, you're just so much up in your head, and the spinning is just, you know, you might be really, really needing this time to rest, but it's like, no, we're not taking any time here to rest. There's no time to rest here. The ego self wants nothing to do with stillness. That's a feminine quality. Nothing to do with that, right? Well, then you get this Queen of Wands that's coming in right behind here, and so she's being blocked by your ego self. And you have also a Knight right here. And so I'm going to say, because you have this Knight coming out and this blocking at the front, I'm going to say that there's a lot of anxiety in your system right now, because anxiety comes from parts of us that are battling inside of us. You know, there's one part that you need to feel, and then you got your ego self blocking this, going, no, we're not feeling this. And because the Queen here is coming out, and she's the feminine side, like I said, and she's the queen of our creativity, our purpose. So I feel like there's a pull here on your part to want to make a change here, want to go into this different direction here for yourself. And then you got the Knight here is definitely wanting freedom. And the Knights in my deck are what I call my freedom fighters. And they have one goal in mind, and that's to find freedom from being oppressed or somebody controlling you or anything like that's causing you pain. And so you've got this part that's pulling you, wants to take you into this direction right here with this feminine quality and this Knight. And then you've got this King over here with this Four of Swords saying you need some rest, and we're going, no. And so here's where the blocking is coming in, and this is where you have the anxiety that you're sitting with, the severe anxiety. I'm going to say a lot of it that's coming up in your system right now. And, you not wanting to deal with it again, like maybe pushing it down and, because you have this, nope, not dealing with it right now. And let's be honest, when anxiety comes up, we find different ways. We come up with different ways to try to deal with it and try to push it back down. And, I remember when I'm a retired teacher, and I remember I was supply teaching one day, and I was walking around the classroom trying to make some conversation with these kids in the class that I didn't know who they were because I was supply teaching. And I asked them, they were high school kids, and I said, they were talking about anxiety. And I just kind of wanted to take on it. And I said, so how do you deal with your anxiety? Like, what do you do when it comes up? She goes, I just smoke weed. And I thought, all right. And so, maybe you're somebody that, you know how you deal with your anxiety. And that's because right now it's coming up. And we all find ways to deal with it, right? Rather than try to get to the bottom of what's coming up here. So this is what we're going to get. What's going to happen here on the left and right side here is that I'm going to find out what you're consciously aware of, and then we're going to find out what's coming up from your shadow, and these two are going to be mirrored. They're going to mirror each other, because what's going on in your inner world is going to be reflected in your outer world, right? So let's look at what's going on in your outer world regarding this anxiety. It's going to give me a little bit more here, what's going on. So you start off with the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands in an upright position is these birds here are comparing these sticks. They've both come to this tree that they're going to start building a nest with, and they both have a wand sticks they found, and they're arguing over what stick is longer, which one they're going to use. So it really becomes a battle of their will, right? The battle of the ego's will. And so the Five of Wands to me is that card that I call it my mean kid card, where it's the part of you that is really mean to yourself. It'll say these mean things to you, like you don't deserve this, or you're stupid, or you can't do this, because it looks like you're wanting to make some sort of a change or take your life in this new direction. But what's happening is you have all of these thoughts, these things that you're telling yourself in your head that are there to keep you small. Now, very interesting that you had a Knight over here, the wand here too, because this Knight wants freedom from anybody that's controlling you. And I'm wondering here if, when you were younger, maybe you were told all these things to keep you small so that you wouldn't, go and do what you were meant to do or wanted to do, because you're hearing them again. This is what this Five of Wands card is here. And so much so that you're really feeling tied up. Like, these are all these swords, right? Swords is our mental thoughts. These are the things we tell ourselves. These are the things that people told us when we were younger. And look what it's done to you. You have a blindfold on. You're not even looking at the water, these emotions below you. You're not even going to deal with those. You're up in your head feeling absolutely tied up, like you can't get free, like you're trapped in your head. But you can get free because because these things that you're telling yourself are keeping you trapped in your head, thinking that you can't get out of this. And yet, and here's this Four of Swords again. You had it twice. You have it right now. You have it for the situation, and it's coming up for what you're consciously aware of. You are consciously aware of that you need some sort of relief from this spinning that's going on in your head and these things that you're constantly telling yourself, but you're feeling so tied up in your head that you just don't know what to do about it because it's in reverse here. And you're very, very confused. Like this Eight of Swords, this Eight of Wands in an upright position talks about, a certain, what direction you're going into. The Wands always talks about the direction, our purposeful direction that we're meant to go into. And so these are very parallel wands, like they really know. And so you're not sure, you're confused, you don't know what to do because when you feel this tied up in your head, you can't figure out what you're doing, right? Like, your head's just spinning and you keep looking for answers, looking up to your head to give you these answers and waiting for it to tell you something, but all it does is just spin into different directions. And here's this new direction waiting for you right here. Like you're consciously aware that there's a new direction for you. I think you feel it. This is an offer from the universe. It's the wand and it's a gift. It says this is what you need to do. Here's your new direction. Here, take it. You going to take this? But there's a resistance to taking it because you're so caught up in your head. You're so spinning. You're very much confused. And that's where that anxiety is coming in. Like we talked about that anxiety, but you just don't know how to deal with it. And so what is coming up for you? This is going to be the interesting part. And I'm actually interested to go see what's coming up. I want to know what's sitting in your shadow because this is going to be a mirror of this, right? So let's see. So you start off with the King of Wands, clarified by the Six of Swords in reverse. So here's your ego self again. It's sitting here right in front of your shadow. So this comes from your childhood. This comes from your teenage years. And so our ego self will come out for one reason, to protect us. When you were younger, and it's the King of Wands, the direction we're supposed to go into, right? This creative path we're supposed to take. When you were younger, your ego would have come out and blocked everything behind here, blocked the direction that you were supposed to go into. And here's the Six of Swords right here. It's in reverse. The Six of Swords talks about in an upright position, talks about this individual getting themselves to safety on this bird. They're being taken away. My Six of Swords in my deck is my safety card, because in order to do this work, in order to really feel comfortable in our own skin, and in order to feel that last cup right here, we need to be in a safe place. But this is in reverse here. When you were younger, you didn't feel safe to feel. And so you didn't feel safe to be in your body. It wasn't safe for you to feel your emotions. And when we feel our emotions, we're in our body. And when we're young, 4, 5, 6 years old, we're in our body. But when we find out that it's not safe to feel our emotions for some reason, if we're not validated and supported, we will go right up in our head. And then there's the ego self right now. And so you are very much repeating before. I'm not even going to look at these two cards right here. But I'm already seeing that when you were younger, you didn't feel safe to feel these emotions. And so there's a real fear here that's sitting here in your shadow. And right here, we talked about you telling yourself all these things in your head and feeling so trapped in your head and confused. Well, when you're feeling that trapped, there's definitely a fear there when you're trapped up in your head. But there's a new direction for you. But you're feeling all this fear from when you were younger. And that's what you need to heal. Because here's the next card here. This individual right here. In an upright position, this individual is being offered another cup. Look at this individual. And what's it doing? It has the same position of your shadow bypasser where you've crossed your arms. And so as a young child, you had access to these 3 cups of emotions and you put them away, right? You put them away, and then the universe said, well, here, let's here's another cup here for you. Here's another cup for you to feel when you're younger. It's like, no, I'm giving up. I'm not feeling anymore. Like there's just, you're not feeling anymore. And so you shut down when you were younger because it wasn't safe for you to feel big emotions that came up. You probably were not in a safe place. The last card that comes in is the Chariot card. And this is an archetypal force. This is the Chariot talks about leading your life when there's like a movement you want to. It just talks about when you. I'm trying to think of it as the end here. Usually it comes in between some cards here, but as an end, it's kind of talking about when you shut down your emotions when you were younger. The king here, your ego self, would have taken over to protect you and kept you up in your head because being in your body was dangerous. And that's how you would have led your life, through your willpower, right? Through your willpower alone, through control. You controlled these sphinxes here. This could tell me 2 things. This could tell me that, you wouldn't have been able to go inside. You wouldn't be able to stay in your body because it wasn't a safe place to be. And so you were always up in your head. But this can also tell me that this was a very controlling environment. People controlled you when you were younger. And so you can take it both ways, and maybe it means the same thing, right? But the Chariot itself talks about being controlled and using your head. And the ego self will control you. So there's very much a lot of control that I'm feeling right here, coming from your ego self, maybe from someone else, not allowing you to feel. And so over here, when there's this new direction that you need to take that's being offered to you, and you know there's a new direction for you, in order for you to get to that new direction, you have to feel what you couldn't feel when you were younger. And I think there's a call for safety here. When you were younger, you weren't safe. I don't know if it's the same thing where you're sitting right now. You could be sitting in the same type of position where you're not validated or you're not being supported. So what's needed for resolution here? Well, you have the 9 of Swords coming up. This individual right here, it talks about this individual of being up at night, but I see this individual as sleeping, almost having a nightmare here. All these things are coming at them. Things are happening to them in their sleep. These sword energy, right? The swords are the mind spinning. If you're somebody that has difficulties sleeping, being woken up all the time, can't fall asleep, that is a sign that, I went through this. I even was on the sleep apnea machine, the CPAP machine, for a whole year before right before I got into my intensive therapy 7.5 years ago. I was having trouble sleeping, and so I went to the sleep clinic and they put me on a CPAP machine. I'm not on it anymore, but it's for your trauma. And people you can look it up online too. CPAP and sleep apnea and trauma is very much related. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but it's like, here's this individual that's having all these sleep issues, and that's a sign that something is coming up. Emotions are coming up. There's parts of you that are coming up, like your inner children, that are wanting to tell you about your, what's happened to you when you were younger. But there's definitely here, something coming up with you with your sleep. And then you have this Ace of Swords here, which is a new offer, a gift from the universe. And it's the sort of authenticity, your truth. There's something here, your truth is calling you. Makes all the sense in the world here. It's time to get back to who you are, because there's a lot of pain right here. There's a lot of pain that you need to get to. And that's what's keeping you up at night, is the pain, but there's truth here. Once you get to these emotions, once you start to feel these emotions, you're going to find out some more of your truth. And, you know, there's pain behind there. There's some pain coming up. It's wanting to come up. And so, guidance from the tarot. How do you start to, what do you start to do? What do you deal with it? Well, first card is the Three of Cups. And it's a card of these three individuals. These three, there's usually three. I don't know why there's just two here. There's three cups here. Oh, here, there are three people. Here's the hand right here. Yeah, it's these three feminine figures. They are celebrating their feminine side. The feminine side. And so I know I talked to you about the feminine side. It's like there's definitely a call here for you to get back into that body. That's the feminine side of us. Because you end this, I'm going to say, okay, I don't make this stuff up. Your three cards that come here are cups, all cups. Beautiful cup cards. Cups is all about emotions. Cups is all about our feminine side. This is the side where, you know, the three cups, this is emotions. The feminine side is where we feel. We feel our way through things, right? And, you know, you have this Nine of Cups at the beginning we talked about where you're like this and I don't want to feel. This is how we get back to our authentic self. And then we have, I lost these. I dropped one. I think I want to say which one was first now. I forget. I think the Queen was next. The Queen of Cups is the one that, she's the feminine side. We talked about her again already, right? Yes. With the Queen of Wands. She's the one that is the one that's in her body. Very much connected with her emotions. She feels all her emotions. And here's the Knight. Here's the Freedom Fighter. This is another Knight that you had. So you've had a Knight and you've had another Queen. This is the Knight that the Freedom Fighter wants freedom. Freedom from oppression. Freedom from pain. And the way that we get free from our pain is to feel. Look at the cup here that it's got on offer. It wants to have authentic relationships. It wants to feel. It wants to be able to feel. It wants to be able to get back to their authentic self. And the way that we do that is to start to feel. I'm going to leave you with a playlist on grounding. And I think I'm going to leave you with something on processing your emotions, because I think it's very important that you learn both of those, where you learn how to ground and also, actually, instead of processing your emotions, I think I'm going to leave you with something on journaling. Those are my two main tools that I use to help me through this journey, is grounding myself and also learning how to journal so that I can get in touch with what I'm really feeling. So, Cancer, this has been an amazing reading for you. I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. This is not an easy journey. It's a really difficult journey, but it's the most important one in your life. And so I want you to take care, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.